Oh, did you?
And I watched you guys up there.
Yeah. That's when Picard had a face cave, wasn't it?
That's right.
Fell on the pavement in Newquay at about 2 in the morning from about 6 foot high. It was. Landed on his eye. Didn't go to hospital. Played golf with us in Newquay the next day. And he got home, as you can imagine. His fiance was not happy.
I can imagine.
You had
a good night though.
Oh, it was fun. Newquay's a fun night out, isn't it? Especially with Buzzer and Picard. We're as drunk as I've seen two human beings. I've never seen humans as drunk as that. That's I mean, that's drawing, isn't it? Okay, and again.
It's a bit unusual. Sometimes it does.
So it's a leak to the right and then a pull, isn't it?
So my bad one is a real slice.
Yeah.
Especially at Big Green with the wind.
Yeah, and the wind will
It
emphasise.
just takes me out of the game.
Yeah.
On the first hole.
Yeah.
Sets you up badly, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's one. That's a push slice.
Push slice.
Starting right and going further right. Okay, let's have one more then. Here's your low one, but that's small. At the bottom of the club.
That's it, bottom here.
Yeah, well, see the red one here, look, that's your last strike. Okay, so that's 10 drivers hit and an array of shots. This is quite interesting. So if we look at your club path to start, you think your club path is out to in, is what you walked in saying.
Yeah.
Your club path averages at 0.
Right.
0 being dead straight.
Okay.
Okay, you were 2 out to in, 0, 0, 0, 2 in to out, 1 out to in, 1 out to in, 0, 1 out to in, 0. Very small numbers. So your delivery of the club head in relationship to the target line is very controlled and sensible. It's not, I'm not saying it's in the perfect spot, but it makes sense. You're not hitting wildly across it like some people do and they can't feel it or control that. So if I was to say to you, are you trying to swing the club at the target when you hit the ball, you would probably say, yeah, I am. I'm trying to swing at the target. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And you are. So your club path is not the biggest issue, which is what you thought it might be a bit as well. Your club face to that path is averaging 3.4 to the right, open to that 0.
Right.
And it dances a bit, but it's predominantly to the right. 4 right, 3 close, 0, 3 right, 4 right, 6 right, 6 right, 4 right, 5 right, 2 right of a nearly 0. So your face is constantly being delivered right of 0, what people would call open.
Yep.
Which is why you definitely look like you can leak them to the right. So we need to try and get the face, if we can get the face constantly hitting minus numbers, so closing to a path, A, your path can stay at 0 or move a bit to the right, but B, you'll draw every shot and we'll see how you adapt to that different shape, which is the shape you want to hit, you were saying, isn't it? Yeah, let's just get the face working. Your average loft is around 16 degrees delivered. Last one 14.3, hit it slightly out the bottom, which often will affect the reading slightly. So you're delivering a good amount of loft. Now this is a common question I ask people and they get mixed up with this one. If you open a face, just a generic question, if you have a face that is open, is the ball going to go higher? And if you have a closed face, a face that points left is going to go left. That's not the case. It is the answer everyone gives. The question is, how do you get the face to be pointing right or left of a path or of 0? Because there's 3 ways of doing it. Okay, if you stand just here, look. So if I have the face set here at your 9.5 degrees loft, okay, if I was to turn the face this way, I would say that face is 90 degrees right of 0, but that loft doesn't change, does it?
Yeah, no.
Okay, So if I was to hit a ball with the handle forwards, the loft can sustain, but the face could be right of a 0 path.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? If I was to twist the club around the axis of the shaft, so around this axis, which is what everyone thinks they do to open a face to a path or to open it to 0, that does add loft. Look, that would go up at the sky. Now you're not delivering massive amounts of loft. You're ranging between 20 and 16 and 15, kind of subject to strike and then how the machine reads, all within reasonable numbers, and certainly nothing's going very high.
What should I want? What do I want my loft to be at?
Around where it is, you're delivering a good loft. You just catch them a bit varied on the face, which is another point of the lesson we might get to, subject to how much time we got left. We need to get you not having the handle so far forward when you hit the ball. We need you to feel like the club is overtaking the handle, and then that face hopefully will always start closing to the path. That's why I don't like the words open and closed, because most people build their premise around those words, that open goes higher and closed goes lower. Well, it's not true. It's subject to how you open or close the face, subject to the fact if you manipulate the handle forwards, the handle back, the lie, because that affects where the face points, or you twist it around the axis of the shaft. They don't all affect the loft. So lots of people relate open and closed purely to that loft question, and that's where they go wrong, because they don't know which out of the three to change. You've been talking about your wrist. If you were to move your wrist differently, and we might find that it works for you to move your wrist differently, because that's just a feeling. But if we were to go with facts, if you were to twist your wrist the way you were saying, you were talking about twisting your wrist to try and have the face open and close, that's twisting the club around the axis of the shaft. That would be affecting loft as well as face the path. We need to try and keep the loft, but change the face to path relationship. So we're actually going to change how you feel that you deliver the club, this way or this way. You also did something which is quite interesting, that, and I've not seen this before. You started hitting down at it. So your angle of attack started down, and then you started to go up a little bit, and then you went down again. So your angle of attack was changing a little bit. Doing what we're going to do, hopefully if we can keep the angle of attack always up, it will help you keep delivering good lofts, it'll help you get good launches and take spins off, those kind of things, in theory, subject to what loft you deliver, but it'll also help us control face path.
So, because when I feel that I'm hitting up, especially on a range, the ball goes really high.
Yeah, well, the thought that you're going to have of flicking it forward hopefully will change the angle of attack without you having to feel like you're hitting it up or down.
Right.
We'll see, not always the case, but often it is for people. So if you dress an imaginary ball there, go on, no ball. So I want you to feel like you're hitting a few shots with your handle back and the club forwards.
Right.
I want you to feel like you're flicking it forwards of yourself. So as you hit the ball, I want you to feel like you're flicking it this way. So the head overtaking the handle. So normal backswing. As you start your downswing, try your hardest to really flick that club forwards at the bottom, and you can start doing it halfway down if you need to. But still come off your right foot, still get your body working the way it was working. You just got to feel like you're flicking the ball almost up in the air and left. Does that make any sense at the bottom? Can you feel that? That flick forwards?
Yeah.
Kind of the opposite to what you were saying you were trying to do, wasn't it? Yeah. Should we try some? Let's call this driver 2. Show me one. Hit a ball. So tell me what that feels like. You're going to hit the ball higher or lower doing this?
Higher.
And does it feel like it's going to go left or right?
I'm trying to get it left.
Well, yeah, but what did it feel like as you were doing it? Did
Yeah,
it
flicking up left.
high left? Perfect. That's, I want you to feel like you're going to hit it really high left over the fence. The only other thing I want you to do with your setup is make sure you get the ball, by your left heel. On the first batch of shots you had it got in the middle of your stance a couple of times. So just make sure you get the ball up towards your left heel. Give yourself a bit of time to flip that club head forward of the handle. Let's see what happens. So you've done it, so you've moved that ball. See that hole on the mat? That one's opposite that one.
Right.
So that ball's nowhere near your heel.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it. Cool, and again, so you caught the top of that one and the heel. Same thing, try and flick it up high left. Does that ball feel way forward in your stance?
Yeah.
And again with the ball. Okay, and again. Good effort, but I want it high up there. It's high draw, isn't it?
Real toe, was it?
It was, but it had loads of draw spin on it, and if it was struck perfectly, it would have been spot on. Loving that, low left, so totally overdone.
Yeah.
But that means you're starting to feel it now.
Yeah.
Good learners will, you know, they'll just push themselves. Oh, that's loads. You know, so like a good racing car driver. I'm not in the racing car, so I don't know why I'm using this analogy. But they're going to spin out of some corners because they're not going to hold back. They're going to push themselves to beyond their limits. Think, right, I can feel where my limit is on that corner now. I need to hit it there. And I always did it when I was learning golf. You know, if I'm going for a high one, I just go until I hit the ridiculously high one and think, right, there's ridiculously high. Let's practice ridiculously low. Right, it's there. And where's in between? And you're starting to do that now. Anything where you're overdoing it like that, love it. Just shows me that you're going for it. Do you know what I mean? You're not trying to hit lovely shots. You're trying to really push the feeling. Yeah, great. Again, loads of it. Go on, one more. So see if you can calm that amount down. You've done it too much on the last two. Yeah, good effort. At the bottom of the club, that one, which is why it was lower. Okay, come and look. This is really interesting, and I think it's interesting. And I think it was interesting what you said as well, which I think is such a common thing with lessons. So we started with that flick, that locky flick, and it just got worse. You were 4 out to in with a face 4 open to a path. So you actually got worse, and the shots got worse. You had a 0 path with a face only 3 open. And you were saying like, oh, I can't do this. This is this too hard? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I've just not said the right thing yet. Yeah. It's not you. If I can't get you to change these numbers, it's not you. It's that I'm not saying the right sentence that makes you feel what I'm trying to get you to do. And then I showed you this picture, didn't I? Where you had the club flicking way forward of their hands, but you had loads of loft on the club. We talked about the fact that your interpretation of what I said was to flick it forward and add a twist that way, clockwise, which added loft and just got the face actually performing worse. I didn't say to put that second one in, you just put it in there. And that's the beauty of teaching a person, is that everyone interprets what we say differently. You just got to go on social media to see that. You can say the most clearest statement in the world, and 99% of people will understand it, but you'll get 1% who just go, that's rubbish. That's not what they said, because they missed the point. They just don't quite understand it. There's always going to be people who interpret things differently. So the last ones, we started to go club path to left, not really moving much, the odd 4, but fine for the moment. And the face started to 0 to the path, with actually the last 1, 2, 3, 4 starting to close to the path. So you're starting to work out how to get the face close to the path, which is where we started to see an overdraw and draw of the shape you want to do. So now what we've got to play with is, can we get you to control the amount of this phrase while still keeping the path where we want it to be. So often for me, it's never about can they do it or not, which is kind of what you were hinting at with the second bit. Oh, maybe I just can't do this. No, that's very rarely the case. Players can nearly always do what I ask them, as long as I'm creative enough with how I ask it. My bigger question to myself and them is, if they do what I ask them, are they actually any better? So they want a draw, they say, and we can get you hitting a draw, but actually can you target hitting a draw is the bigger question. Everyone gets lost on the can they or can't. That's not the point. The point is, when you get them doing it, can they actually function? So I would say at the minute you can function, but you're about the same amount of wildness of what you've walked in with. You've just got a different shape. So let's play with that shape. Let's see if we can get it to actually hit target more often. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Right, better get some balls. Otherwise you hit them all good. Another shot. Great shot, Alan. Great shot, Alan. He talks a good game. Yeah, it's nice. Slight drift to the right, but that's hitting fairway.
That was 2-0.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a miss hit. Don't count that in the package. Look where you hit that.
Yeah.
So what happens is no golf club, and this is where I always laugh with reviews that I do and people's comments around clubs. No golf club, and the R&A make this a fact, and this is high MOI, D3, you could get D2 would be higher, but this is as good as a driver can get. If you strike that far away from the effective CG, that club will twist so much in 2 planes of movement. You'd out the bottom, so it'll take loft off, and you'd out the heel, so it'll twist left. The ball's never going to go straight. No club in the world can save you from that. But you've got to feel that. You've got to feel that and not think, oh, I did it too much. Unless you hit somewhere near the middle, you can't judge what you've done.
Yeah.
The only thing I rate you on there is your strike. It's just not good enough to give us any kind of truth. Yeah? And you need to do the same. Don't make a change, just try and hit the next one a bit better. That's a good draw shot. This is good. Really good. And a slightly better strike. 16 degrees of draw spin. Spin axis left, good.
So, aim.
Well, let's hit more draws. Let's just come back to the start. But you're right. If you keep drawing the ball, which you're starting to, aiming at the flag or certainly down the left side is ridiculous. You're programmed to aim straight to slightly left because obviously you've been scared of cutting it all the time. But if you start drawing everything, you've got to see it down the right side, absolutely. Let's just hit a few more draws before we confirm that. Good shot. Nearly coming back. That's down the right semi, you'd find that. So a little bit more wrist action in you there. Yeah, really good. So you need that one starting down the right.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Right.
See what happens. Just fractionally up the right. So when I say up the right, see the bunker to the right of the 150?
Yeah.
No further right than that. What a shot. I mean, have you ever had the confidence to do that?
No.
Totally moved your path then. Look, your path went 2.9 into out straight away because there's a constant, my machine. And my machine sees a 0 line, which is constant, and then you aimed across it, which then made your path move across it. So many people try to move path with a massive swing fix, where often you can get them to move path by just educating them, well, if you want to swing down the right, you can swing across your body, why don't you swing with your body and get your body aiming a little bit right? It's such a basic fix for so many people. It's good. That was a great shot. That was kind of like a highish draw to slight overdraw, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which you did. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't luck, you did that. It's great. Yeah, that's fine. Did you heel that? Yeah, so you heeled it, which started slightly left. So strike made that start in the leftward side of the target. Alright, go. I'll show you this. Here we go, look. That's alright. So last batch of shots now, you're 0 path, 0 face with a slight minus. Starting to get a few insides and we're starting to see quite a few more minus spaces to pass. Totally controlling it. It's good.
Is he alright there?
He is fine. He's made of iron. So again, the lesson for me now is about getting you to, you've just done 1, 3 from the inside face, 4 close to that 3, so overdrew. Started right though, I mean it was missing left target, but you were going to find it and it was a pretty decent drive considering you've gone from cut to want to enjoy it. You've now got to manage the feeling you've got in situation. So this is where I struggle with people practicing swing or correct, because that last shot, wind off the right, trouble up the left, that's a brilliant drive. Brilliant drive. You overdrew it into away from the trouble and up into against the wind. Absolutely brilliant drive. Wind off the right, trouble on the left, that drive's not what you want to be doing. So you see what I mean? You've got to practice now these feelings, these numbers, this kind of, people go, oh, it's the numbers, don't show the numbers. I don't want to do numbers. It's about getting you to control your feeling, which are backed up by some factual numbers, okay, in situation. It's not about can you do it or not. Your lesson now moves on to you taking this feeling to a course and playing and thinking and managing when you do, you know, loads of flick, not much flick, all that kind of stuff. Loads of twist, not much twist, and seeing how you perform with it in situation. Lesson 2 would be you coming back going, look, it works great, but I tend to miss left. And it always seems to be wind off the right. I seem to overdo it, and then we work on a feeling that calms that down, which is why the best players in the world still have coaches. It's organic. It's always moving.
You tend to overdo things.
Your feelings will change from month to month, week to week. There is no right. There is no perfect. It's changing constantly. And all that happens is the language changes. I have to give you another feeling, a word that clicks, that helps you deal with that situation-based thing. If you watch our course vlogs, I say it a lot, we're not hitting the same shot every time. Sometimes I'm patting a driver and it's only going 240 off the tee. Sometimes I'm trying to whack it and I'm trying to go 270. They'll have slightly different shapes, those shots, so I'll aim them in different places. They have different misses. So when I pat it to when I hit it hard, we'll have a different miss, left or right. So subject to where the trouble is, I'll aim differently again. I'm going to try and hit this one hard and I tend to pull it a bit, so trouble up left, I'm going to aim way down the right and just hit it hard, and if it stays there fine, if it comes back, it's a good drive. It's managing the situation around the feelings you've got. Where before, you had no management, you were just practicing swing and wondering why it was cutting. But that's how you never get better. There's thousands of golfers around the world doing that now today. Practicing a position, trying to get better, thinking like you did, oh, it's my path. No, actually, it's not even their path. So then you try and put that in situation, they're just going nowhere, just like round in circles, yeah? It's good. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more videos. Find me on Instagram @CrossfieldMark, also on Twitter @4GolfOnline. Find me on Facebook, Mark Crossfield. Thanks for watching. Post comments as always, and see you soon.